Good morning, everybody, and happy Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend and not everyone here is super upset over what happened in the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. First off, Eagles, that's pretty dang exciting. Personal opinion, don't hate me over there in the chat. You can't tell by the little raspiness of the voice going on here. Also that the Super Bowl was hosted there in the good old home state of Minnesota. So first things, they got to use the stadium, and I heard things went absolutely great there from some friends and family who still live in the frozen north. I know taking a look at the temperatures there today, it was pretty gross, talking about -2 or right around +2, which they said they don't feel too bad for the football fans for them to experience what true Minnesota is. So that being said, knowing of a few things about Minnesota, you know that it's cold, that it has great people, that it's kind of called the frozen north. That's part of the Minnesota brand, and that's one of the things we're going to talk about today. Being your own brand, having that personal branding, and why that is actually important to you. So to start it off, let's start with a good old Zig Ziglar quote. I don't care how much power, brilliance, or energy you have. If you don't harness it and focus it on a specific target and hold it there, you never accomplish as much as your ability warrants. So happy Motivation Monday, everybody here. If this is your first Motivation Monday, and there are a few of you here on the call, this is going to be the setup. We're going to start with a tip of the week. We're going to take a look at the AHCP trends. So what our sales trends are, who our sales leaders are, and in the end, we will end with a sales technique, which is going to be building your own personal brand. The point behind these webinars is for them to be quick, about 15 to 30 minutes at most, get you off the phone, get you back to selling, and your goal in these 15 to 30 minutes is to walk away with 1 or 2 pieces of information. If you did that, it is well worth your time. So to take a look at what our trends, our tip of the week is to start off with, let's go to the one for last week. So it's actually about VBA there. So it's one of the carriers that we sell the most of. They have a really solid AME, ridiculously low deductibles. If you're there, take a look at option 1. It's a $50 AME deductible with a $2,000 AME, and it's only $35 a month per family. It's great, very inexpensive, just a solid reputation there in the industry. It's one of the ones that we sell the most of, and we have been actually showing you guys a lot of the different popular carriers, and we're going to keep doing this as we go along, so you have an idea of what these other people are selling that makes them so successful. If you are not appointed there, and if you want to find out more information, it is on the AHCP sales website. It will be under General Agent Center, so GAC, but really it breaks into 2 different carriers there. So NEA and then VBA. VBA is the one that we do a lot of, that we love, because it is the one that has 24-hour accident plans. It also comes with pet insurance. It comes with an MD hotline with 24-hour, 7 days a week consultations. So it has a lot of really great benefits that happen on there. So the tip of the week for this week is actually going to be your current sales incentives. I know that's one of the things that people are saying, hey, what's going on? What are these carriers doing? What are the upcoming trips? You know, we just got done with New Year's, and we just got done with the Super Bowl, and it is cold where we live, and we want to actually go somewhere. Awesome. Take a look at the current sales incentives there at hcpsales.com. It's also taking a look, we have Baltimore Life doing one, we have IHC doing one, we have the Cozy Up United Health one. So these are all perfect, up to date for you guys. So take a look at that. If any of these you are not appointed with, again, we are going to go through and call agency services for that. So let's take a look at what our sales trends are. Guys, you know, open enrollment's over. We had a really great, crazy open enrollment, and everybody says, oh no, the sky is falling, we're done, we're done, we're done. No, that's not the case. What we're doing right now is we're actually finding what we call our run rate as far as it goes. Majority of people make more money, surprisingly, out of open enrollment if they're not the big major med players, because clients are still out there searching. You can spend a little more time, a little more coddling. You don't have those old clients beating you up over and over and over. So taking a look, short-term med, we had a really great increase in short-term medical last week. So I think we're going to be close to what our run rate is, leading with National General and Golden Rule. In our fixed benefit, we didn't really have much of a change. I think we were up or down 1 policy, literally almost no change, and that is leading with that VBAs. Decrease in our accident sales through NatGen and Golden Rule. The NatGen one is a lot of that plan enhancer with that SIP and cancer, heart, stroke rider, and then the critical illness, leading pretty much with NatGen. You should take a look at CBL if you haven't done that one yet. I know we talked about that a few weeks ago. It's pretty solid critical illness. They did just rebrand it, so I think it's like CBS now. So still CBL, but they rebranded under CVS. And then we had a healthy increase there in the dental, so Golden Rule leading that. So let's take a look at our trends. Almost everything has a pretty healthy increase or no change, minus a surprising decrease in accident sales, because I'll tell you, people just don't get in accidents during the new year. So last night, I'm sure people got in plenty of them after they heard about the Eagles. So let's keep going here. Who are our sales shoutouts? In our limited benefit, she's back on top. So kudos to Katya. Robert taking silver there, and Jerome, kudos on taking bronze. For our short-term medical, let's take a look at our sales leaders on this one. Dustin is holding strong with that gold. So Dustin, keep up with what you are doing. Be really solid in what you're selling because you are just leading the ship on this one. Katya, you are still in second. So hopefully it's going to give you a little motivation to kick some butt. Dustin's mainly leading there with NatGen and then the VBA for short term. Andrew Orlikov, good job taking bronze. So let's jump into our sales techniques. Since we already went through our tips of the week, which is make sure you're up to date on your current incentives. It's hard not to be when they're giving you that much free money. We took a look at our sales trends, which are healthy growth, and our sales leaders, which one of them did get dethroned, and Dustin is pretty much rocking that. So we're going to talk about being your own brand. So brand is extremely important because first off, we talked a bit about referrals, right? So a few weeks ago, we talked about referrals. And one of the things we mentioned is, hey, be worthy of the referral, right? Now, when people refer, they actually have to think of you. Mind-blowing, right? All of a sudden, oh, they actually have to know who you are and know what you do. Mind-blowing, they have to think of you, and how do they do that? Well, you actually have to have a strong personal brand. I was having a conversation already this morning about McDonald's, funny enough, people are saying, hey, you know what you're gonna talk about today? I'm saying being your own brand. Like the concept that McDonald's doesn't sell shoes, except for the hamburger joke there. But so the McDonald's doesn't sell shoes. That's absolutely right. You need to know what you do and what area you specialize in, right? So think about these powerful brands really quick. Left one, the swoosh, Nike, right? The apple with a little bite missing out of it there. Apple, Golden Arches, McDonald's. These are very powerful brands that people recognize. When you think about Nike, what do you think about? If you sit there for a minute, sports, running, fitness, right? Pretty much go. And how about Apple, right? Apple is modern, sleek technology. McDonald's is cheap and quick, right? Not saying all these brands have positive relations, but they have an association to it in your head already. These companies are very specialized, and it's an important thing that us as sales agents, that's what we do. We want people to not only know that, hey, we do sales. You're like, well, that's my brand. I do sales. Close, really close, actually, because sales is our paychecks. But what areas of sales do you actually work in? People are saying you're the insurance guy. I made that mistake a long time ago that I was the insurance guy. And I got a lot of people asking about car and RV insurance, and I don't really do P&C, okay? So if you have a strong brand, people will want to work with you because it confirms your credibility. If you remember the 4 main steps of the sales process, in the introduction, people have to like you, trust you, believe in you, and think you're a professional. A strong brand makes this already happen. So it's one less thing you have to worry about in your sales process that you already have that strong introduction, right? A lot of people who have the large agencies out there, people call them because they have an identity that they want to call. So at its most basic, branding is about connecting with the values and beliefs of your customers, backed up with stellar service, competitive products, expert knowledge, but none of this comes easy. So let's kind of talk about what you can do and give you a few physical takeaways to do. So in the past, the concept of branding was really called building your reputation, but because of what has happened with technology and social media, it's so much more than that now, okay? Your brand is going to be accessed by millions of people instantly. That's the thing with the digital age. Your brand is no longer just, hey, look at this flyer, look at this billboard, look at this pole sign I put up. Absolutely not. It's, hey, if somebody has a question on insurance and they type in health insurance in the search field, are you actually going to come up? Or are you just that sales agent? Which is fine, you can be just that sales agent, but if you want to keep that 6-figure income, you need to be a little more. So when you're building your personal brand, there's actually 5 main things you need to think about. First off, the most important, in my opinion, is being seen as an expert, because when you're building your brand, you want people to know that you're actually knowledgeable and you know what you're talking about, right? You need to know what you're selling. People want to work with experts, especially in our area, because again, health insurance, if something goes wrong, the client could be out a lot of money. You are protecting not only their financial stability, but also their family, their most important thing. To be an expert, you need to be educated, not overly educated. I hear this all the time from new agents. Hey, you know what? I need to know everything about everything before I'm ever going to pick up a phone. No, that's stupid. Don't do that. You just need to know enough about a specific area, like a sales process, about the products, enough of the overview so you can make that stop in the call and do your research if needed. Okay. So you need to be seen as an expert. You need to walk in with confidence, with that smile. Another one is to build relationships. Now, it's not just face-to-face. So we're going to talk a little bit this morning again about social media. We talked about that last week. We said, hey, what are the best times to actually post on Facebook, to post on Instagram, to post on Twitter? What times shouldn't you? That's equally important, because if you're saying, hey, I want to build my own personal brand, and you are posting things at wrong times, you're wasting your time. You're gonna say, hey, Dan, you know what? I've been working on my Facebook page over and over and over, and I'm not getting any likes. Well, maybe it's because you're not posting at 3 o'clock. Maybe it's because you're posting at 8 o'clock at night when your day is done. Well, guess what? So is everyone else's. You have to think about times when people are bored. So building relationships, okay? You don't spend your professional time on sites that don't relate to your profession. First off, let's talk about that. You want to be a resource. Your brand is somebody you can trust, right? When people are saying, hey, I need new running shoes, they go to Nike. Why? Because Nike is known for running shoes. So it's one of those things that, hey, when I need new insurance, why? Who do you go to? Bam, Dan the insurance man, right? So you want to be someone you can trust, but you also need to go out and meet people. Like we said, it could be useful connections. Last week we talked about when it comes to building a referral base, building relationships with your brand, go find people in similar fields, right? Maybe find a few podcasts that you can do. I have one agent who actually does podcasts related around insurance. But you want to turn yourself into a tool, a relationship tool. So before we jump too much into the physical takeaways, a few other ones are going to be keep it professional, relatable, and personable, right? So one of the biggest things is keep it professional. I know things are happening in the Super Bowl. You don't want to sit there and say, hey, you know what? Patriots are the most garbage team on the face of the planet, even if you do truly believe in it, because just like when it comes to politics, you're going to tick off half of America, right? You don't want someone to not use you because you went out and you decided to be unprofessional. I've watched a lot of agents actually shoot themselves in the foot by having a lot of unprofessional content posted on their own personal websites. I don't care what your political beliefs are. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. I don't care what your sports beliefs are. You need to make yourself an expert, building relationships, and a professional. Doing any of that, complete waste of your time. Another thing, side note, I'm just gonna do my little soapbox. So when it comes to being professional too, in your email signatures, if you are one of those people who is gonna have a Gandhi quote for 14 different pictures, maybe different colors that are gonna change, all these different fonts, you're gonna have different size fonts as well, that's not professional. If I see an email address like that, I kind of giggle and I delete it. Why? I don't want to work with somebody who can't even make a signature. Nobody wants to work with someone who can't make a signature. Being your own brand needs to have consistency. I'll show you what I mean in a minute here. What you show makes a statement. That's an important one. So, if you're going to do that, again, that email signature, and you have your little Facebook icon at the bottom, your Instagram icon, and your Twitter icon, make sure they're all the same size. Make sure everything's professional. Everything is clean. You are working with what people think is a very high dollar item, and they don't want to work with that sporadic person who, just has random stuff on the bottom. It's just not worth their time. And then the last one is evolve with changes. I think this is the one that's hitting our industry actually really hard right now, because people have been selling insurance for 20, 30 years. And even when I started in this industry a long time ago, a lot has changed. I never would have thought that, we're going to be talking about so much insurance on social media, that I have people who are going to be doing, live Facebook feeds about insurance, that I have agents who have YouTube channels talking about it. You need to evolve with change. If you want to keep doing what you did in the past because it worked in the past, you're going to be missing younger generations, or those other generations that want to be tied to the younger generation. They don't want to work with those that are still stuck in the past. Why? Because they're stuck in the past. That if there is a new product that comes out that's going to be the most mind-blowing product, no, these people are only going to be selling major med. I was actually at a company last week talking with them, and the only thing that they would talk to me about is their major med. And they're in a state that doesn't pay commissions for major med, and I could not get why we were doing this. Over and over, they just kept saying, well, in our major med fields, we're talking a little bit about technology for them, like with their major med, and I literally had to stop one of the conversations and said, what do you actually make after that? You know, is that your long-term goal, is to only work with that major med client? Because if so, we're not going to be using each other right here. You know, I have 100 different carriers that I can talk to you about, and I can help you go and find the right carriers for. But if you're only willing to talk about one thing, you have not evolved with change. It's either you evolve or you starve in this industry, and we all need to learn how to evolve. Your brand needs to be modern that way. Okay, so let's talk about some physical takeaways really quick. The whole point of this is to be quick, and I kind of soapboxed you guys there. So create your own website and logo. First off, these are very important. If you don't have a website or logo, I mean, there's about 1 million different companies that will do that out there for you, or you can do it yourself. There's a lot of fun ones where you can actually go and find people who are going to school for graphic design, people who are going to school to build websites, who will do it for you, okay? Your website is actually your voice and presence in the industry, and since clients can't see you, this is what they see. I've been on a lot of insurance websites, and some of them that aren't even usable. That is frustrating. I talked to a company last week that actually, when they build websites, if you guys want the information on this, you can email me privately, that when they build websites for their agents, your clients can actually run quotes off of your own personal website. I thought that was pretty mind-blowing. Unfortunately, it costs money, obviously. Your website and logo builds credibility. So what do I mean by that? You do need to have your own logo. It's kind of cool. Having your own logo, you can go to Fiverr. You can see what that is at the bottom. You can put in, hey, I want a logo. This is what I want in the logo. And you can have about 5 or 6 different people build a logo for you, and because you'll say how much money you want to spend. Hey, I want to spend $10 on a logo. A whole bunch of local graphic designers will throw in together. The one you pick, you pay $10 for it, and you're good to go. Make sure you get the source files if you do that, though. That's going to help you start with the logo. Your logo needs to be used in everything. Your signature, not your trashy signature, your stationery on your website. You need to build a consistency, because that is going to build credibility. Because if they go and they find your beautiful email signature and they go through and you guys have been working together great, and then all of a sudden they type it in and it looks like that original website for Space Jam, if anybody's ever been to that, you're going to look like a mess and they're not going to trust you. And you know what they're going to do? They're actually going to move on. So first off, create your own website and logo. It helps build your voice. It gives you a face when you don't have a face. Second one is going to differentiate yourself. Think about this. Spend your day today as you are making your calls this morning. Who is your ideal client? You're going to say anybody with a pulse. I don't want that answer. Who is your ideal client? Is it going to be families? Is it going to be those that are looking for Medicare? Is it going to be small business owners or people who work independently in business, 1099 contractors? Who do you want to work with? Maybe those people who are recently laid off and you want to give them an alternative to Cobra. Yes, you can work with everybody. I'm not saying don't. I'm saying you need to give yourself a specific area that you want to target, because when somebody walks across somebody like that, they will send it to you, right? Not saying you're not going to get a lot of other clients that you're going to say, hey, I only want to work with families, and all of a sudden you're getting somebody who's laid off. Yeah, that's going to happen. But if you differentiate yourself, make yourself stand out for something, when you go to those network meetings, when you start going through and building your brand and talking to people, they're going to think of that specific client and send it to you. So think about what most of your clients do. Find that trend that you want to work with. You need to start differentiating yourself. Also, we talked about that. When you are looking for personally developed leads, PDLs there, that's one of those things that you can talk about in your introduction. Go back, listen to that one on YouTube. So networking, strong brands. Okay, so one of the things, network, associate with other strong brands, connect your referrals to other people that way. So when you're taking a look at who is in your network, you don't want to bring in that weak person. Your job is not to bring somebody up. Your job is to bring yourself up. Don't go find that attorney who's absolutely struggling and say, you know what, I know you're struggling. I have a really big heart and I want to work with you. No, not worth your time. Look for those that are in industries that are similar, not identical, similar. So property and casualty is similar, right? An attorney, similar. CPA, similar. Not other health insurance agents, right? That's probably not going to work unless they only do Medicare and they're willing to throw you their under 65 clients. So, those are few and far between. So with network with strong brands, people who have those strong brands. If you are going to go to any of those BNI groups, find those people who are successful. You want to associate yourself with success because those are the kind of clients that you want. Those that actually can pay for their insurance. First off, you work in sales. So again, like industries, success, but also in other groups and activities. If you are one of those super physical active people, I live in San Diego, people are doing things all the time. They play volleyball together, they play soccer together, they play flag football together. Let them know what you do in any of your local neighborhood groups. Okay, a few other quick ones here before we jump off the phone today. Use social media. If you don't do that, we talked about it last week. Go find that recording. It is out there on YouTube. It's also at ahcpsales.com. So that's going to start your communication. That's going to actually give you a voice. People don't want to call up and talk to people, these younger generations. I know I have a few agents I talk to that actually sell their insurance, sometimes via text, completely via text, because they have an online presence. Here's the thing. So if you are going to do it really quick, you have to give them a reason to follow you. A lot of times people say, hey, I had a Facebook page and it never worked. I'm actually doing a contract job right now through a law firm, not insurance, funny enough, who wants help with their social media. The thing is that their social media, they literally would just post, hey, we did this case, we did this case. They gave them no reason to follow, they just made statements. You have to give somebody a resource or give them a reason to follow you. If you follow anybody on Facebook, if you follow any companies on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, anything, see on what they're doing. They're posting information about sales, secrets, little fun things. Hey, you're going to take a look at this. Mimic that. Do something similar about that in the industry. Hey, you know, I hear really good products coming out. I'm going to let you guys know more about it next week. Something to give them interest. Don't just have it, because if you have it and you're not actually doing anything or giving anybody interest, you're wasting your time. Kind of like what we talked about there. A few other things. Brand promise. You do need a single sentence. Okay, you're going to need a single sentence that is clear and concise statement that explains what your brand stands for and how it connects with policyholders and prospects on an emotional level. Okay, more important, a brand promise actually implies action. I'd start with non-differentiating functional features. Ooh, that's a lot to say with coffee today. So do you have competitive rates? Do you have great customer service? And then ladder up to the emotion, or the cultural values to form a backbone. So you provide outstanding, accurate information to small business owners to help protect the assets they value most, their family. That's a brand promise, okay? So you provide outstanding, accurate information, brand, bam, that's what you're doing. To who? Small business owners. To do what? To help protect the assets they value most, their family. Consistency. So consistency really means persistency, never giving up, going above and beyond. That's the thing. If you are starting out to do any of these things when it comes to being your own brand, they're going to take time. If you're going to start doing your logo, you're going to have to go through and find your logo on everything. If you're going to go through and start social media, you have to be persistent about it. A lot of people are going to expect results. We're sales, impulse people. That's what we are. They're going to expect results in the next 3 to 5 minutes. Not going to happen. It is a slow buildup. But the people who have slow buildups are doing great. I'm talking to a guy a few weeks ago. He is based out of Missouri, has his own personal website, has been keeping it up for a few years now. Because in the beginning, I felt like I was just throwing money away, but now I have a lot of clients who use it. I have a lot of them that go there. I have put a lot of great resources out there and given them a reason to actually use me. He has specialized himself, and he's actually probably one of the top agents I've ever worked with that is a sole producer. His biggest thing, I asked him, like, what do you do? What makes you feel like you stand out? He goes, I never give up. Because I was completely broke one day. I was going home taking pink slips out of the mailbox, so my wife wouldn't find it. And you know what I did? I realized I had to put my nose down and work as hard as I can, and I have never given up. So here's one of the things: consistency, persistency, never give up, go above and beyond. If you do have questions, comments, or want to find out more about additional carriers, feel free to email me there at training@ahcpsales.com. For the carrier information, personally, I call agency services, so I just put you guys, there's their phone number. Let's end today with a pretty solid quote. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. So if you are going to start with social media, you're going to start building your own website, the best time to do it is now. The better time to have done it is about 5 years ago. So keep that in mind. If that tree is going to grow that you're planting today, in a while, it's not going to grow right away. So think about it. Hope everybody has a great week, and I will see you all next Monday.